Good afternoon and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids pregame show. It's Sunday, which means it's hockey day here in Grand Falls, and it's a big opponent. It's the Chaleur Lightning for the very first time this season, a battle of two teams that are going head-to-head in a fierce division battle. We're going to talk all about that and more here on the pregame show. So to start off, we'll get in for a little bit of the stats here. So the tail of the tape, as per usual. The Chaleur Lightning rocking a 5-1-0 record. The Grand Falls Rapids, on the other hand, still undefeated in regulation, by the way. 4-0-1 on the season. Ben Cross leading the way for Chaleur with 6 goals. Nathan Plemons-Michaud leading the way for the Rapids in goals with 4. Jack Hain, of course, leading the Lightning in points and in assists with 10 assists and 15 points overall. Julien Avignon-Bourque still leading the way with 3 assists. And Nathan Plemons-Michaud leading the way in points for the Grand Falls Rapids. Now, this is going to be a highly contested matchup, one that we've talked about for a couple of weeks now, especially on the broadcast. You heard me kind of hyping up the matchup between these two teams. And there's not a whole lot of a point difference between them in the standings. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But as you can see, their goals for and their goals against, not too far off. The Chaleur Lightning have 33 goals for, whereas the Rapids have 20. So there's a 13-goal difference for their goals for. Now, the Lightning have also allowed 22 goals against, whereas the Rapids have allowed 12. So this is, again, it kind of balances out because they're being outscored a little bit by Chaleur, but they're also allowing less goals. So there is a little bit of a balance with that as well. Now we get into the special teams. Grand Falls with the 6th-ranked power play in the division, 7.1%. The Lightning, on the other hand, the first-ranked power play in the division, 27.3%. Now, I know a lot of you saying that stat are probably freaking out right now. Don't even sweat it. I'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. Power play matchups. The Grand Falls Rapids with 85% on the penalty kill, 4th in the division, and Chaleur obviously with that 87.5 for 2nd place. So, what does this matchup mean? It's a big one. Obviously, the first time that Chaleur plays in Grand Falls since relocating from Fredericton last year, as we obviously all know. Now, for this game, like I mentioned, it's a battle of 3 teams that are contending for that top spot in the division. It's a battle between Grand Falls, West Kent, and Chaleur, all within 1 point of each other. Obviously, with Chaleur, the top of the division, 11 points. West Kent at the top of the division with 11 points. Chaleur with 10 in 2nd, and then Grand Falls in 3rd with 9. So it's a very, very close divisional race so far. And with these two teams, like I mentioned, they aren't far off from each other. Recent games, obviously the Grand Falls Rapids coming off of a big loss an overtime loss to the Campbellton Tigers on Friday night. We are not going to talk too much about that game because it was obviously a game that happened on Friday, and this is the game that's happening this night here on Sunday. Chaleur is also coming off of a 4-3 win against Amherst last night, and that's obviously a big win for them. I mean, they're 5-1 on the season. Grand Falls has played 5 games, Chaleur's played 6, but there's not going to be a whole lot of difference in terms of the games played. It doesn't really matter because these two teams are coming to do battle here tonight. So we're going to look a little bit into how these two teams have done. Obviously, we mentioned that the Rapids have had a strong start. You know that they're undefeated in regulation, whereas Chaleur, when they lost to Summerside, just feels like last week, that was their only regulation loss on the year as well. So you have 2 giants really contending for that top spot in the division. And this is going to be a game where both teams are coming to play. You know, you're not going to be looking at this game like it's going to be a blowout on one side. This game is going to be much different than the ones we've seen from the Rapids so far this season because it's going to be such a tightly contested matchup. You look at the amount of players on their team who are top scorers and the amount of players on the Rapids who have done an excellent job at shutting down a lot of the league's top scorers. They've been playing very well defensively. They've been making those crucial plays when they need to, and they've been making sure that when it comes to the neutral zone, they're limiting their turnovers and ensuring that they have possession of the puck whenever they need to. So there's that as well. Now, when it comes to the overall matchups of this matchup here, there's a couple of players to watch. And I mentioned that they may not be the top scorers in the league, but these guys have been on fire. Obviously, you know Nathan Plemedon-Michaud, who has not only the lead in goals for the team, but the lead in points as well. He's going to be one guy to watch. Loic Francoeur had an amazing game on Friday night. So did Declan Kennedy. We're obviously going to be watching them as well. But the other guy that I would watch is Derek Aslan. He had a fantastic game, last game and the game before as well, scoring 2 points, 1 goal and 1 assist. So those are going to be guys to really watch, especially when it comes to 5-on-5. Their power play, they're starting to get a little bit better. They finally scored a power play goal on Friday night, and it was not too bad. They're starting to come up with a lot better creativity, which is nice to see. And I think that once they get the ball rolling on that power play, look out rest of the league. They're going to do some damage. So penalty kill, like I mentioned, they're doing pretty good on that as well. So, but this is going to be a big thing for them too. You've got to watch out for some of their top scorers, right? I mentioned Jack Hayne. I mentioned Zach Rushton a little bit earlier in the broadcast last week as well, that those are guys that you don't want to get the first goal, and you don't want them to get anywhere close on the power play. So those are going to be those types of matchups that you're going to want to watch out for, is that these players, when they're lining up on the dot or, you know, even 5-on-5 on special teams, doesn't really matter, just shut them down at all costs. That's going to be a big thing for them. The other thing is that we didn't talk about, it's yet another return. Former Grand Falls Rapid Nick Beattie, he's going to be in the lineup tonight. It's going to be a pretty interesting game, I think, for that as well. But with these two teams, don't expect a blowout. Don't expect it to be a crazy, lopsided game. It's going to be very second or so, I thought. So, your keys to the game in this game, like I mentioned, stay out of the box. This is a team that will capitalize on the power play if you give them any opportunities, such as evident with their power play percentage this year. They're leading the league and the division in power play percentage, and they have made the most of their opportunities. Like I mentioned, you need to stay disciplined, stay out of the box, no matter what they will try and do, because they have players who are going to be able to get under your skin and try and goad you into taking a penalty. Just stay out of the box. That's going to be your key number one. Number two, get the first goal. We saw what happened the last time that this team got the first goal. They scored 2 minutes in, ended up keeping the momentum rolling from there, and didn't really give them a chance to claw back until the late stages of the second period. So there's that. Keep the momentum rolling, get that first goal, stay out of the box, and of course have solid goaltending. Adam LaCour has been dialed in so far this season. Jeremy Thibodeau-Soucy has also played very well in the game that he played in Miramichi, was very solid. You've got two incredible goaltenders in the crease, and if you can give either one of those guys a great game, this is going to be a really tough matchup for Chaleur to get any goals or get any offense going. But I think the big keys, like I mentioned, those are going to be the big keys. And in order to stop this Chaleur team, you are going to need to be at the top of your game. Like I said, this is going to be a team who is coming in and they're looking to take over that first place spot from West Kent. But Grand Falls, I mean, this team seems like it's been an unstoppable force through the first 5 games of the season, and it's only going to get better from there. You're not going to win every game, but you want to win as many games as possible and get as far out in that first divisional spot as you can, so then that way you're not dragging yourself into the playoffs when it comes time. Now, it's obviously quite a bit of ways away, but it's never too late to talk playoffs. So, with that said, that's looking into the matchup for this week as well, and I am going to bring back a segment on the show that has been highly requested, and people have been asking when it's going to happen. Finally, we got the opportunity to bring this back, and what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Rapids Heat Index, and we are going to tell you who the player of the week is right now. So as you can see, the Rapids Heat Index is back. The player of the week for this week, Zachary Michaud, obviously played 3 games with the Grand Falls Rapids, 1 goal and 3 assists for 4 points. He's had a hot start so far, and he has looked fantastic, as has the rest of the team. But it just seems like he's got that little bit of an extra step, like he's ready and he can get basically thrown into any scenario and play well. So Zach Michaud is one of those guys that you want on the power play, that you want on the penalty kill, that you want to have in your top 6. He's just so far really coming to his own and started to get that feel for the game that I think was really, really good to start off. So now it just becomes a matter of, can he keep the momentum rolling? Can he find his line mates? He's been playing a lot on that top line with Patrick Baxter and Jonah Lear, which I think is a really good line. And I think if that line sticks, then it could cause some real damage. But for Zach, I mean, so far, through the first 4 games that he's played, he's got first 3 games that he's played, rather, he's got 4 points. That's a pretty good start, I will say. Now, he is a guy who likes to be a playmaker, but he can also score goals. We've seen that last year, especially in Stansted College, when we were talking about it. But he is a very intense playmaker and is an offensive force, to say the very least. He can totally quarterback a power play if given the opportunity, but this is going to be interesting to see how he does for the rest of the season. So that was Zach Michaud on the Rapids Heat Index for the week. We're going to see on this game who ends up getting the player of the game. We're going to introduce that as well. So your 3 stars, obviously we have that, and then we're also going to introduce your next week's Heat Index Player of the Week on Friday. So this is going to be a continual thing every Sunday. But because we had the first couple of weeks of the season, it's going to be a little bit skewed. So next week we're going to do it on Friday, right before the game. It's going to be fun. So finally, Rapids fans, you've got a busy schedule coming up. Chalur's in town. I want to see everybody here making some noise, cheering on your Rapids, and making sure that you are into it as much as they are. They feed off of your energy, don't forget. It's going to be an exciting game. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell for all future content. Hit the little bell notification for all future content, as I should say. And I will see you up in the booth, whether you're watching on Flow Sports or you're going to be here in person. Enjoy the game. This is going to be an incredibly fun one. And I will see you very shortly for the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids post-game show.